All right. Welcome in, everybody. The Gentleman's Code, episode 28. It is February 19th. Welcome in, everybody. We got a busy week of work between me and Priamo, working heavy on the back end stuff for you guys. We are launching live March 1st for the Discord, the Taylor's Code Discord. So if you guys have not already seen what we do on the school platform, we're going to be transitioning out of there on March 1st. We've been working heavy on the back end, getting stuff done like landing pages, getting payment processes set up, everything on the back end developing. But March 1st comes, we're going to be transitioning to marketing and getting lots of content out there for you guys so you guys could see what we're doing inside the community and you guys could get involved at the click of a button. That's the goal. We're trying to make it as seamless as possible for questions, for role acquiring, giving you guys the access to the roles that you guys pay for and all of that. So make sure to be on the lookout for that March 1st. But other than that, good morning, Primo. How you doing? How's the week going? Staying busy? I know you are.
Good morning, Bobby. Yeah, I'm fucking the shit. I mean, it's incredible once you get momentum with anything that you do, how things start to pick up and how the work becomes so much easier to do when you see the progress happening, right? That's it's the Discord was a vision that we've had for months now since we started the Taylor's Code, and you see the growth over time. You see how fast we've grown. You see the things that we're doing. And when you make this transition, you see the growth. You get excited to continue to go to the next thing, right? Like, okay, well, what's the next goal? How are we going to continue to grow this? How are we going to continue to make this better for everybody? And it's such a great lesson for people that at the beginning, when you don't see progress, whenever you're losing, it's so hard to give full effort. It's so hard to try because, of course, you're getting tired because you're not seeing progress. Of course, you're getting tired because you're not making
Yep.
money. As soon as you start to see things flourish and grow and you start to gain some momentum, it's incredible how you have unlimited energy. You just, easy. Now we're just, so yeah, the week's going fantastic. We're just continuing to make this better and better for the people inside. And this is the thing. This is as right now is the worst this is ever going to be, right? Every week that goes by, every single month that goes by, we're going to continue to grow. The organization is going to continue to get better. We're going to continue to innovate for you guys and help you make more and more money, build the network out. Like this is the worst it's ever going to be. So things are
hmm
only going to go up from here. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I remember when we started on school, we knew pretty soon into that we're like, yeah, we have to get on the Discord. We have to do some changes, and we wrote those changes out. And we ended up ultimately making those changes. But one thing I wanted to touch on too quickly before we jump into the meat of what we're going to talk about today is, a lot of people, they have a stigma around paying for something like this, like getting into a Discord, paying for this type of community. But what I'll say is it's an investment into yourself. So not only like because we had the school platform where we did let a bunch of people in for free, right? And they just didn't bring the value that we wanted into the community. I think that was something that we learned early on once we were bringing people in for free. So why we charge people to join the community? It's one, so that you're incentivized to actually work once you get into the community. You can't just, get in and then it's just, something you never touch for a week, 10 days, a month at a time. That's not what we want. We want people to be interactive. We want you to get in there. We want you to work. So
Yep.
if you're spending a little bit of money each month, you're more incentivized to do that. And that's my thinking behind it. Because when you have that free, it's just a free way to get in and take in information and bits and pieces as you want. It's not as valuable. So yeah, there's not going to be as many people in the community as we start off. Like you said, it's not going to be the finished product, but ultimately the goal is people get in and they pay for it and they're incentivized to work and to work with us in there.
Exactly. That's classic human psychology is when it's free, there's no perceived value, so they don't feel that they need to use it. As soon as you see that charge coming every single month, you realize, oh shit, well I'm paying for it. I may as well get some value out of it. I might as well take this more serious. And it's funny. The more this is something that you learn in sales early on too. People are afraid to sell somebody something that's more expensive. Let's say, for example, insurance, right? They're afraid to sell somebody a high premium insurance policy because they think if their client is paying a lot per month, they're more likely to cancel. When actually, it's the complete opposite. The retention on business on premiums that are larger is higher than the retention on business that premiums are smaller.
Really? That's interesting.
Such an interesting statistic that, and the reason is because the more money that's coming out of their checking account every single month, in their mind, they think it's more important. So people are more likely to cancel the $20, the $50 a month, $30 a month subscription before they cancel the $300 a month.
Mm.
Because when they see the $300 coming out every single month, to them, they're thinking, oh, that's a big expense. That was a big purchase that I made. That must be pretty important. I'm going to make sure I do a little bit more research, and I'm more careful about canceling that one because that one's important. But $20 a month, yeah, let me just get rid of that. It was only $20.
Gotcha.
The other thing too is it's harder for somebody to cancel a policy after 3 months if they've paid $300 3 months in a row because it's $900. Oh, I just lost $900, as opposed to if they're paying $30 a month. Oh, I only lost $90. I just cancel it.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, yeah, you can't. We have the value, right? If you have a business and you have the value, you got to charge for it, right? And the more people are willing to pay for it, the more value that's attached to it. So, anyways, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And that's some of the information that you're going to learn inside of the community, inside of our sales section, inside of e-commerce and stuff like that. That's why we built it out because we want people to know this stuff when they go into building their own businesses, the kind of psychology behind marketing, how you're going to do different sales stuff. So that's great. And also, like, kind of touching on that, we will probably have a little promo code for some people, just to get in, just to see the community, see the perceived value. So that's going to be good as well. I'm excited that we talked through that and got that all set up.
Yep, it's gonna be sick. Yeah, the Discord is a fucking game changer. The guys that are inside the Discord already, that were already on the school platform, they love it. I mean, compared to what we were able to do before, it's next level. Just because the way that we're making money, especially on the crypto side of things, the efficiency is so much higher, and there's so much more signal, and we're able to get things out to each other a lot faster. It's just making people way more money. I mean, we saw some of the guys posting on social media all the money that they're making from crypto over the last 2 weeks. It's because we're in the Discord now. I send something in, I get the signal, boom, 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 boom. We're in and out, 2x, 3x, bang. Print some money. Have a nice weekend. See you guys.
Yep. You send when you close it out, when you close the trade out, and you move on to the next thing.
So, okay. So Discord's cracking. If you're not already inside the school, join, gentlemen. Once it goes to March 1st, it's $50 a month. Right now, it's only $25. Get grandfathered in at $25 a month. If you want to wait, if you want to be lazy, fine. Go pay more in March. I don't care. So I'll just giving you the heads up. Now, something I want to mention. So an observation I had this past week, and then this will transition us nicely into the video we're gonna watch. We got a video for you guys. We're gonna dissect for you, enjoy with you. So recently, all right, finished up doing my work. I said, all right, you know what? Let me spend some time with my mom. I'm gonna just, sit down, spend some time with her, see what's going on, right? So I go spend some time with my mother, and in natural fashion, moms, they always get on the news, right? I like having their evening news. their bit of evening propaganda. So I sit down on the couch with her, and I'm just sitting there listening to what she's listening to, and she has on David Muir. Yeah. Not a good choice.
Me and my mom call him the bad news bear.
It makes sense because everything that's on his show is bad.
Bad. Plane crashes, fires, war. That's all that news station is.
That's exactly what it was. You just explained last night's episode.
Yeah.
The whole thing was...
It's every episode.
Yeah. Delta planes upside down. People are freaking hostages. I don't know. Bullshit everywhere. Bad. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, and it's so important to understand what these news stations and what media is trying to do. Because when you understand what the enemy is trying to do to you, then you can go ahead and find out where they're trying to take you, and you can go ahead and make the readjustments to go ahead and, as Tate would say, punish the perpetrators. Go ahead and make the decisions, make the moves that are going to be able to put you in a situation where you can defeat these people who are trying to lie to you. So what did I notice? On X, I watch the full clips of all these things that are happening in politics, news around the world. I sit there and I actually watch and I analyze the full clips, full press conferences. They're not everything I watch full, because I don't want any context removed from what I'm watching, so I understand what's actually happening. I would watch all these full videos on X, and then I would see it on this David Muir show last night, and a couple other days that I was spending some time with her. The way that they clip things and remove context should be illegal. That's how deceptive it is. And that's why they're actually getting into a bunch of lawsuits right now for doing that. It is outrageous. I'll give you one example. Bobby Kennedy, when he got approved to be the health director, whatever. So he's doing a speech in the Oval Office. In his speech, he goes, "So many people told me that you can't trust President Trump with anything. But since he got elected as president, so you can probably imagine where they cut it. Since he got elected as president, he's delivered on every single promise based off of a handshake deal. Everything he's done, building him up, saying how Trump, everything he said he was going to do, he did it." Okay, we get to David Muir, ABC News. They played the clip. The only portion of that speech that they played for Bobby Kennedy, "So many people told me you can't trust Trump with anything." Cut. Well, that's not what the clip was. That's not what he said.
I know.
So that's just one example of what I noticed when I watched the full things compared to what these clips are. It is so outrageous the way that they take out context. But I'll let you comment on that if you have something.
Yeah, I mean, you see, there's a big lawsuit with CBS News right now. I believe Trump is suing them because of what they did with the Kamala Harris interview on their network. Ask her a pretty simple question. She rambled on for like 5 to 7 minutes, not making any sense. What they do, they took that whole 5 to 7 minutes she was talking and cut it down into 2 sentences and made it sound good and made it sound like a correct answer when her actual answer was completely different. So yeah, it's just different stuff like that. And with the bad news bear, ABC News, I think people do start to see how kind of like it's just a show. At the end of the day, all it is a TV show. It's propaganda. They're trying to sway you to think certain ways about different ideas. And honestly, I don't really, there's probably a good amount of people that watch it, but I don't know how many people actually are just like you said, because we could see different things on social media, and I don't think many people take the news as bond anymore. A lot of people would watch the news and be like, okay, that's what happened. But now you see the news, you're like, you kind of get what happened, but like you said there, like it's missing context and it's just fear mongering most of the time about different stuff.
Exactly. Fear mongering is correct. Everything's negative on the news, I noticed too. Everything's negative. And you wonder why people have these bad mindsets, they're depressed, because all the information that they consume, at least on these mainstream media channels, is negativity. And so then they get into this trap of thinking negative about everything. Where's the positivity? Where's the good things? Where's the motivation? Well, that's not what they want you to do. So one other example, just because so I started talking to my mother about this. The reason it's so good to watch these TV news channels every once in a while is because our generation and younger generations understand that the news is on social media. The news channels on TV aren't, they're not truthful. It's important to see how the older generations, though, see what's happening in the world, because that is their news still. They still consume their information that way, which is important to see, because now you have to understand how they're seeing the world, what lens they're seeing it through. So last night they were talking about Putin and Trump sitting down to make this peace deal, and David Muir, of course, somehow is trying to spin how Trump trying to end a war in Ukraine is bad, right? I mean, talk about the lunacy. This guy's talking about saving people's lives and stopping a war from continuing on, and they still want to criticize him. What? War. He's saying stop the war. No, bad. Insanity. So they go, Trump said, David Muir goes, Trump said that Biden, they should have prevented this war because they should have struck a deal with Russia to stop it as the world saw Russia invading Ukraine. Basically trying to jab at Trump, saying, oh, make a deal. Yeah, Russia was already invading Ukraine, and trying to make Russia sound like the antagonist in this situation. So I turn to my mother and I go, hold on. Russia is not the antagonist in this situation. Again, zero context provided.
Yep.
Russia said, don't put Ukraine in NATO. They are the last country on our border that is creating a buffer between us and NATO. You can't have U.S. military bases literally on our fucking border so you can just send missiles into our country. It's a national security threat. Don't do it. Biden. Oh, yeah, we're putting Ukraine in NATO. All of NATO says, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, Biden administration. Yeah, we're going to put Ukraine in NATO. Okay, if you're going to put Ukraine in NATO, we're invading Ukraine. Like that's the context. It
Hmm.
wasn't as the world saw Putin invade Ukraine. No, you made him invade Ukraine.
And it was also had to do with the whole Zelensky thing. Like that whole election, they say it was conspired by pretty much CIA and other, operatives to get him placed there in the first place, and however long ago that was. So they overthrew the Ukrainian government, put in the person they wanted to do exactly this, and you saw how it turned out, and exactly that Russia decided to invade. But now it even past that now in 2025, we all have the chance to just move past it. Stop the firing, come to a deal, and they still don't want to. They want this is the whole point of like what they were trying to do over there was a little proxy war, give Ukraine some a little military power so they could stand and be their own country. Okay, great. You guys succeeded in that, the Biden administration. They wanted to give weapons and give all this stuff so Ukraine could support itself. It defended Russia long enough, like 3 years. They didn't use any big military like missiles or anything really. So take your win, come to a deal. If you got to give up a little bit of land, I mean, it sucks. It is what it is. I mean, that borders change all the time. Look at America's 250-year history, how much borders have changed. So take the deal, go about your way. Zelensky, you could be crowned as a Ukrainian president if he steps down. They do a new election, whatever. But I don't think his approval ratings are very good right now, so he probably won't win another election. So take this. I think it's the best situation for them, and I don't understand why NATO and the European countries still want to keep going for some reason. You saw the British Parliament; they like want this to keep going somehow. I think it's kind of because they see it as America's last foot in the door of NATO and funding military over there, so they're trying to just exhaust every resource possible.
Hmm.
But I hope it comes to an end too. I don't know why they would still want it to go on.
Yeah, no war is a good war, right? Yeah, if you need to defend yourself, fair. But no war, there's no reason to provoke a war. The reason that that administration wanted to do the war as well is because there's so much money involved, or there's so much money to be made in Ukraine, all the natural resources. That's why they want to keep it on the West. That's why they don't want Russia to be able to take over it, because there's trillions of dollars of natural resources. Well, now guess who's buying up all the land in Ukraine? BlackRock. Hold on a second. U.S. companies and investors are now starting to buy land in Ukraine because they just passed a law that the U.S. Citizens can do that. Isn't that interesting? I wonder if that had anything to
Wow.
do with the war.
Yeah, I wonder if it had anything to do with that. What was his name? Hunter, that Hunter guy that was on the board of directors at a big natural gas energy company.
Interesting. What that had to do with Ukraine, right? They were doing,
Huh.
yeah.
I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Right, exactly. And what was one other thing I was gonna say with Ukraine? Oh, this is another good one too. People say how Putin's a dictator, and no, they don't have elections over there, etc. They're always criticizing Russia. People don't forget that Zelensky is also a dictator. What, Zelensky? He's not a dictator. What are you talking? They canceled the elections in Ukraine so that they couldn't take out Zelensky. Guys, look this up. They canceled the elections. He's a dictator. There's no democracy there. There are no elections for Zelensky. He could have been taken out by now. They canceled him because why? Emergency. We're at war right now. In the U.S., we never canceled elections because we were at war. Why'd you have to cancel the elections? Well, they don't want Zelensky to lose power. So again, you got to do your own research. People got to understand the context of these situations. Don't get fooled by the media. Don't get fooled by what your friends, with the pink hair tells you. Don't get fooled. Just don't be fooled. Do your own research, right?
And there's plenty of resources out there. You could listen, Trump talks for hours on a day. Like he's talking to press and they ask him some pretty good questions sometimes, really try to get some answers out of him. And he says like what he thinks about the situations. And I think they're meeting in Saudi Arabia at some point this week. Maybe that'll be in the interview we're going to watch to get more information on that. But yeah, they talk at lengths about it. Senators talk lengths about it, interviews, and there's lots of information out there. You just can't take the short route because in a 30-minute news station, they're going to try to cover 4 to 5 different major topics. So you're only going to get like 5 minutes on a topic, when in reality, you could listen to senators and the president talk for hours a day about the same topic, and you'll get way more information, and you'll get the source straight out of the person's mouth that you might disagree with. So you listen to what he says, and you might agree with what he's saying about the situation.
It's just good to be educated on history too. People should care to know the history of different regions, the history of
Hmm.
politics, so you have the context of what things are happening under, right? People try to act like what happened in Ukraine in 2022 when Russia had invaded was the first chapter in this book of Ukraine and Russia. That's not the first chapter. That's not the first instance. That's not the first aggression. No, there's many years of history of to what was going on there. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember the I think it was like last year this time maybe Tucker Carlson went to Russia and he interviewed Putin.
Mm-hmm.
And where did Putin start that interview? He started it back in like 16 or 1600 or 600 AD, something like way long ago. And he started with the history of that region, of why the borders ended up the way they were. And even Tucker a few times was like, wait, I don't understand how this makes sense. And Putin's like, just give me a second. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about it. So he laid out the history, like you said. So it's important to understand the history of why things are the way they are now, because that's why you see conflict. That's why you see things evolve into the future because of what's happened in the past. And you want to learn from the past to not make mistakes again in the future, but also to understand people like why Russia may want Ukraine or why Ukraine wants to be independent,
Right.
whatever it might be. So I
Right.
think that's a great thing to do is just learn the history.
Right. And the only way you can come to a resolution is if you understand both sides. Nowadays, people want to be so divided. Oh, I'm on this team, you're on that team. I don't want to care about your perspective. I don't want to know why you have your perspective. I'm just going to think what I think. I'm going to say that you're wrong and you're a bad person for believing what you believe. No, everybody in every conflict believes that they're correct. That's why they're willing to fight over it. That's why they're willing to die over it. Russia believes in their minds that they're correct. Ukraine, not all of them, but the people in power there believe that they're correct. Okay,
Hmm.
that's fine. So let's understand both perspectives. Why do they believe that they're right? Let's understand the history and let's come to an agreement. People now, they don't want to, whether you're on the left or the right, doesn't matter. People want to get into a position of, no, you're wrong, you're evil, no, you're bad, no, no, no. Well, why do they believe that? They're not stupid people. Russians aren't stupid. Why do they believe that this is makes sense for them? Because it's a national security threat. Because people in eastern Ukraine, the people on the border of Russia and Ukraine, are ethnically Russian historically. Those are
Yep.
Russian people. So there's a reason that they think it should be a part of Russia. Anyways, if you have any other points on that, I think that was a good.
No, nothing. I want to give a shout out Focus564 for the live follow on Twitch.
Bang!
Welcome in.
Your Twitch is heating up.
Twitch is heating.
Mm-hmm. Gentlemen are heating on Twitch. I gotta get my Twitch algo going.
So, what do you got for us today, video wise?
Yeah, so let's cook up. I was just this morning watching a little bit of the Hannity interview with Musk and Trump. Now, guys, keep in mind, I'm not biased. Yes, there's what's it called? Propaganda for the left with all these liberal media stations. Fox News is obviously right-wing propaganda. So trust me, I understand that Fox News is a propaganda station as well, and I don't watch it. But for the sake of the Trump and Hannity interview, we're going to watch it because it's a good interview. Where is it at here? Hold on. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to just watch this live together. It's the first time me and Bobby were watching it. Give a little commentary on what these guys are talking about. Where the fuck is it? Hold on. Elon had tweeted it. Here it is. No, is this it? No. Is this it? Nope. Here it is. I got it.
See that? So, what you said too about Fox News being right wing, and it definitely is. I 100% agree. But here's the thing, that the left wing media versus the right wing media couldn't be more different in today's day and age. Because if you look at what happened, in the election, obviously, more people resonate with the right side of things, the conservative side of things in today's day and age. No,
Right.
not as many people follow along with the left side, the with the left liberal side does. So their media seems way more abstract, way more out there, and more propaganda and lies. Does the right do that? Yes, I believe they do. But at the same time, the beliefs of what the right is saying make way more sense. Like when it comes to, transgenders in women's sports and in the border and things like that. It's like more people resonate with that side now. So it does sound more like correct news. Like Hannity might ask some like off their questions to take jabs at people, and would be my guess.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like it could make sense.
Right. Oh no, it's certainly more reasonable for sure. That's why the left is losing
Yep.
their entire what's it called? They're losing their party because they're trying to take 80-20 positions and they're taking the 20% of the issue, and 80% of people are saying you guys are out of your fucking minds. What are you talking about? And then that's why they're losing. Okay, so let me see. I should be able to do this. Hold on. Oops. I'll just do like this. All right. Can you see this?
Yep. I see the Twitch home screen. I mean, X home screen.
X. All right. So let's put this full screen. We'll be up here in
Yep.
the top right-hand corner.
Yep. Looks good.
Beauty. All right. Yeah, they can see my shit. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. That's fine. Okay, cool. Hit play.
I got to start with this. So he's working for
I
free.
don't
with
have any
Doge.
sound though.
He's
Let me do this real quick. Share screen, share sound, share sound. Here it is. Okay.
he's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And
You hear it now?
you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
I sued from long before he had it.
Hold on. I gotta fucking do this real quick.
Elon's face.
Yeah, he did sue him. That's funny. See, these guys have no bias. They're best friends, and Elon's letting X pay out Trump for lawsuits. It's like, all right. Hilarious.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, and I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right. It makes sense.
I think it's funny.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount in the lawsuit.
He got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your, if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's,
It's nice the way he said that. There's something nice about it.
It really is. Because I mean, the president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event. Yeah.
That speeded it up a little bit?
Yeah.
The day of the assassination.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, I'm convinced that people only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know everything about Elon, because as I studied and prepared for this interview, I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. I think people will think about Tesla. Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
Yeah.
And, you know, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and all
these.
these.
A while. I mean, you know, I think the way to think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. You know, so. If you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order. Hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals, and yet they were still doing that, even as late as last week. And so, you know, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the Doge team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing, because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
No. You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware.
Okay. I just got to comment on that quickly. So this is how you know these are high-level businessmen, and not only businessmen, but high-level leaders, okay? And they'll actually talk about this a little bit later in the interview. But this is high-level leadership, because the genius is in the implementation, right? People can take notes, people can take down, they can read, they can take the information, they can study, et cetera, et cetera. But the genius is in the implementation, right? So they're talking about how the government, so many things get passed, or executive orders are passed, or whatever, right? But nothing gets implemented, so it means nothing. And another important leadership, not tactic, but something you have to do as a leader, is you have to inspect what you expect, okay? People assume just because they say something needs to be done, or they say something needs to start happening, or they implement this rule into their business. But if you don't inspect what you expect, people are always going to try to avoid the work, or they're going to try to avoid implementing what you told them to implement. So you have to inspect what you expect. Find out if it's actually happening. And that's what Elon and Trump are doing. Holy shit, all of a sudden change is happening.
Yeah, two quick points. One is the tech support aspect of it. I think the federal government is severely lacking in technology for its employees and for just systems and implementation. You know, if you go to the DMV, it could take like a week to get or a week or two to get your driver's license in the mail, and just all these like little things. And we saw the granite tunnel with where they store the retirement for people, and it's a very slow process. They need to update their systems. They need to implement new ideas. And I think that's a great thing that tech support Elon Musk is bringing to the table with the Doge people. Second point is, like Elon said, the implementation of these executive orders, are putting in, temporary laws before they get passed through Congress. And one of those was no more funding for illegals in New York City hotels. And what did they do? They sent like a $28 million payment a week after that executive order was signed. So not only was it one against the law, it's like there would have been no way to catch that if they didn't start putting these systems in place at USAID and start looking at these bureaucracy, the bureaucracy that Elon's talking about of these agencies. So they have to be held accountable. They have to go through and check and balance every single one of these agencies. I think that kind of like falls under the accountability / tech support that we're looking for in the government.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is fucking real leadership right here.
That the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore, because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. They said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people to know the relationship and know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, Elon Musk? They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah. And he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watch Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby. You grab your baby. It just...
Hug the rocket.
I've never seen...
Right, everything needs a hug, including rockets.
No, but... And he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it. Right. And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. Now, nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't do it. And they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology. So you learn, I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect. Because, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive, and you sign it, and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's
Bunch
your
of
tech
nerds.
support.
No, he is.
Big balls.
But he's much more than that.
I actually am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You got a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great. And you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. They could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done, get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it all of a sudden he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? You need the Republican Congress
and
to
they
follow
will be.
up?
A lot of them will be, yeah.
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning, because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad, because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communists, okay? It was crazy. Their
really crazy.
Executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So the damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, you know, there's so many things, but open borders, where millions of people poured into our country, and hundreds of thousands of those people are criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world. And we have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the numbers, they're now like 96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her, he said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. You know, she's very nice. He said, no, she's so tough. And she is. I see with the horses, she's riding the horse. Let's go. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable.
Homan's fucking G. Tom Homan, gangster. You see what he said about AOC?
Yeah, she's like the dumbest senator ever to set foot in Congress or something.
Yeah. AOC just got done calling Elon the dumbest billionaire she knows. So, yeah. The super genius Elon Musk is dumb. And then she then puts out a video teaching how illegal aliens can avoid getting deported.
Oh, yeah.
Who does she work for? I mean, again, I don't care what her belief system, or not her belief system. I don't care what side of the aisle she's on. I don't care about her. It just doesn't make sense or not. She's putting out videos for illegal aliens. She works for the people of the United States, the citizens of the United States, and she's putting out videos helping illegal immigrants. What? Who are these people?
To be fair, her voter base is probably mostly illegal immigrants.
True. Those are the people that she's representing. But that is just so it's so outrageous to me that this is her concern. When was the last time she put out a video to help the American people, teach them doing something? No, illegals. Hey, here's how you avoid getting deported. Who do you work for? Bumbleclot.
It's
Anyways,
crazy.
Yeah. You want to make any comments real quick or go back?
No, I'm down to keep listening a little bit more.
Cool.
But those executive orders, I sign them, and now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO, and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space. First private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink.
going to
At some point. Huh? Yeah.
Is in over.
But they always ask me, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have
that's interesting.
What is it called?
Oh, I missed that. Fuck.
Star Shield? I don't know what that is. He said it's used for national defense.
Oh,
that must be
shit.
That must be the government contract side of SpaceX.
Boom.
Here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see, and people with spinal cord injuries, that they can recover, where in the past How close is that
Yeah.
to becoming a success?
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged.
It's a real
so
dumb
that somebody
guy.
can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored.
Trump's getting ideas. He wants a Neuralink in his
So
head.
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually, yeah. I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time.
Matters.
But
That's why.
but he's on your team.
President.
Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You
I couldn't.
really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this
Well,
guy.
thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful
this is
here.
the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. Nobody at Doge gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some
they
are,
do-
okay.
Yeah,
They're helping.
But it's fair to say that the software engineers at Doge could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so just
And they're very committed people.
so
Yes.
you're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
When are you
At
gonna
the
get him
president's request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were put. Yes, they were locked up there
Biden.
for reasons, which
Biden.
That's it. Just Biden. That's all you need to know.
is not good.
Okay, it's not good. Now,
Biden.
if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, But when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success. So, as long as we're not complacent,
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
We're
have
being
the go-ahead.
extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's
He
that?
was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
Well, it's
He
like we
considered
were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. And so
Yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene. They have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue. You donated that, I
Yes,
believe?
yes.
Okay. You donated to the people.
He saved a lot of lives.
And
In North Carolina,
nothing.
dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay. Now you're going to rescue astronauts. And now,
Tony Stark.
again, you do.
What's that?
He said he's a modern day Tony Stark.
Who said that?
No, me. It's just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
he's a fucking-
saving people here, saving astronauts.
Bruv, I won't be surprised if he fucking creates an Iron Man suit, starts flying around, smoking people.
All of this, I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be adored by the left.
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these
he
days.
killed that.
That was I've thought about that before too. I've said that on the gentleman's code. They used to love Elon. Oh, Elon's the best. He's doing electric cars because green and global warming. Da 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 da. And Elon was a Democrat his whole life. They loved Elon.
Yep.
As soon as he endorses Trump, well, you can't have this guy around your personal information. He's a dumb billionaire. Da, 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 da. All these people were the ones fucking buying Teslas left and right. Everybody in California was getting Teslas.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
the fuck out of here. These people were outrageous. No loyalty.
Nope. Now they dump them and they just attack them every day.
Yep. No loyalty. I mean, these just outrageous. Now, how about the guy that you love so much who's a fucking super genius? Maybe if he changed his political alignment, you should think to yourself, well, maybe he probably thought this through. You know?
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Huh?
I mean,
I really didn't know.
well, I mean, this whole sort of like, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. And I don't, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay, and I'm like, wow. And I'm like, what is wrong, like, guys? Like, you can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him, you pay a price. You know, it's like I walk in a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room it's daggers and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane. Yeah. I mean, there was like I had like some invitation because I got invited to basically a big sort of damn event like that was, but I received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone. Like, if looks could kill, I would have been dead several times over.
But that was not before Trump.
Just the ashes on the floor.
Before Trump, that never happened, right?
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
Back at the White House, and here's part two. Welcome back to Hannity, and we are back at the White House, and here's part two of my exclusive interview with President Trump and Elon Musk. Take a look. This is the $1 million or $1 billion, I'm among billionaires, question. So you have all of this going on, and you stop, in a way. You're still doing it, and you partner with him. And this is what you get from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees. Okay. People are dying because of Doge cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What Doge is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give it fly and rip? Oh, number one, and
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. You know, if like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful. I think. What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, D.C. voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
They don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, but how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented. And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people. Is this making sense? I mean,
no, of course it does. I mean, to me, if you look at our framers and our founders, and you really become a student of history, Mr. President, and we've had conversations both on air and off air. And if we talk about constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is it's going at the speed of light. But however, what were the principles of our framers and our founders? They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people. And we'll get to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when you look at what this man has done, I mean, it was something. I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't know him before that. And I respected what he did. And he fought hard. You know, he was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful and made a better car where it's, you know, beating these big companies that's all they do is cars? I mean, it's really amazing the things that he's done. But I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold. But I wanted great people. And he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. You know, he uses the word care. So they sign a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, you know, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years. And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, you know, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. I say waste and abuse, but fraud, waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ and high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, you know, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. You know, there's a certain something. But he uses the word care. So people have to care. Like, when I bought Air Force One, I negotiated the price. It was $5.7 billion, and I got them down to $1.7 billion. Now, they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing, they're supposed to have been building this thing forever. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't build the way we used to build. You know, we used to build like a ship a day, and now to build a ship is like a big deal. And we're going to get this country back on track. We can do it, but so many things. It takes so long to get things built and get things done. And a lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build anything, whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything. And some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right. They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment. It's an environmental problem. It's not an environmental problem at all. But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin is going to be fantastic in the position. It's so important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month. You know, just as good.
Sure.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying, that he brought this country to the dance. This is the opportunity to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency if we really dig down and do something that had never been done before, and that is get rid of this bureaucracy. And I'm going to get to the specifics. You say the same thing. It's not done yet. And what do you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And, you know, people, like, it's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying that things are being done unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do. He's in violation of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well,
It's
they
absurd.
know. It's just a con job. It's a big con job. And they're so bad for the country, so dangerous and so bad. And the media is so bad. When I watch MSNBC, which I don't watch much, but you have to watch the enemy on occasion, the level of
That's what we were talking about before.
and
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. You have to see what they're saying just to understand the context in which these people are seeing the world through.
cheating, and they're just horrible people. These
They
are
lie.
horrible people.
They tell
They're
conspiracy
liars.
theories.
And they start up with the Constitution. They couldn't care less about the Constitution. CNN, likewise. I mean, I watch them asking questions with, the hatred with the. I said, "Why are you asking the question with such anger? You're asking me a normal question, but you see the bias. The bias is so incredible. Those two are bad. PBS is bad. AP is bad. CBS is terrible. I mean, CBS now, they changed an answer in Kamala. They asked her some questions. She answered them like, a low IQ person, the opposite of him, the absolute opposite. But she gave a horrible answer. They took the entire answer out and they put another answer that she gave 20 minutes later into as the
Part of her
answer.
word
I've
salad.
never even heard of that. I thought I heard of it all.
I'm going to, just for the sake of saving time,
Yeah.
because I could spend, and I've done this on radio and TV, I can spend an hour finding the outrageous amounts of money being spent abroad like USAID, and I just want to mention a couple, but I'm going to scroll it. And
Well, I guess at a high level, I think it's what the president mentioned earlier, which is that in order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And when the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher, literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
But we were talking about this yesterday. I could give me thousands of bills. I could pick any one of them.
Exactly.
But I could take all 1,000. And let's say it's a bill for $5,000, just $5,000, and it's done by some bureaucrat. And if he would say, "I'll give you 3, I don't want to pay you 5, it's too high, I'll give you 3." But they don't do that. If a guy sends in a bill for $5,000, they pay $5,000. They expect to be cut. Everybody expects to be cut. When you send in a bill, you expect to be cut. They send in the bill higher for the most part. This is true with lawyers, legal fees. When they send in legal fees, I can cut. I wish I had the time. I would save so, but I could cut these bills in half, much better than half. But you offer people a much lower number because they actually put fat. I'm not even saying it's like a way of business. They put more on because they expect to be negotiated. When you send in a bill to the government, there's nobody to negotiate.
Yes.
You send in a bill for $10,000 and they send you a check back for $10,000. If you would call them and said, "We'll give you 5. No, I need more than 5. We'll give you 5. I'm not going to pay any more than 5. Make it 6. No, I'm not going to make it 6. And you'll settle for $5,500. You've just cut the bill almost in half, and it took like 2 minutes. But none of that's
Don't we call that the art of the deal?
But that's caring. No, it's not even the art of the deal. It's caring. He uses the word.
And caring.
It's caring.
Yeah.
It's a certain competence, but I think it's more caring than competence.
If you add either ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal. And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring?
But they lied to us and said that Joe didn't have a cognitive decline.
They fully lied.
They said the borders were closed. They said that the borders were secure. They said that, they said Obamacare would save.
They flat out lied.
They flat out lied.
Insane.
Boom. They flat out lied. I mean, what a great point to end on with the business side of things, right? It's not even, it is deals, but it's not even deals. It's just stop paying what the fuck they send you the bill for. That is so true with business. Everybody does that. You start big, then you work down from there. It's the same thing in sales, right? We were just talking about this the other day. In sales, you always show the first option is never the option that you expect your client to go with. The only reason you show the first option in a sale when you're trying to close a deal for business is you want them to say, holy shit, that's a lot of money. So then the perceived value of your product, of whatever you're negotiating, is much higher. So show that first option. You want to make them say, holy shit, that's a big number. Yep. But they never go for that number. So that the second option, the third option, look way more palatable to them. Oh, wow, the first option was $1,000, but hey, I can definitely settle on 250. 250 isn't that much. Then you get a bigger deal that way.
Yeah, it's just people. I would say that falls under the abuse category. People, contractors sending in invoices for, hey, we're going to do this consulting work for this government agency. It's going to be $10,000 a month or whatever it might be. And they just send the check. They don't negotiate back. Like, okay, no, we don't need that consulting for $10,000. How about we do 5,000 a month? And that's what they're saying is just having a little bit of care with the money because it's carelessness at the end of the day. It's just people not caring, where this because it's like unlimited money to them. They're just going to keep sending it and sending it. So having care and being competent that okay, you're overpaying for a consultant or overpaying for parts of an airplane. It goes throughout everything and is what they were really saying. So it's good to hear. I mean, that's what you want out of your government and stop wasting money. Stop the bleeding.
Exactly. And like you said was a great point. To them, it's unlimited money. So they're just willing to spend it however they want to spend it because they didn't work for it. They just collected it. It was taxpayer dollars collected, or that agency has the budget. All right, well, we got the money. Send it. Doesn't mean anything to them, right? The government right now, the way they spend the money is how a woman spends money. However much she has, she's gonna spend. She got $500, she's gonna spend 500. If she got 10 grand, guess what? She's spending 10 grand. That's how women are with money. So because it's to them, it's not an issue of do we have enough money or not? No money's ever enough money because if it's there, it's gonna get spent. So that's how the government runs their spending. If they collect $1 billion in taxes, $1 billion's going to get spent. If they collect $10 billion, it's going to get spent. Well, clearly more than that because we're in a deficit. So they spend more than even what we collect. So these guys are coming in with some competency, like you said, and actually caring because the only way that you can fix this problem is if you care. If you don't care, there's no incentive for you to cut the spending, right? You just have to care. Okay, we care enough to say we're not going to keep running it this way. Let's cut the spending, which is I can't. Any reasonable person, like Elon was saying, any reasonable person's not going to look at this and say, wow, they're trying to save me money. Ooh, maybe I can spend less in taxes. Ooh, maybe they'll collect less taxes from me at the end of the year. Nobody's looking at that and saying, well, that's a bad idea.
No. And I love the idea of an external revenue service as opposed to an internal revenue service. People have been taking advantage of our systems for a long time, our low tariffs. And, Trump's came out and said that he wants to do a reciprocal tariff. So like whatever you have on our products, we're going to put the same on your products of the same industry, like cars and, food and stuff like that. So it's going to be reciprocal. Whatever you charge us, that's what we're going to charge you. And start looking to get money from other countries into our country and start paying for things that way, as opposed to taxing your own people and then taking that money and then spending it USAID on things in Africa, Cambodia, condoms for Gaza, whatever it is. We have to reinvent the wheel here. We have to reinvent the whole system. And starting with Doge, cutting the spending that we currently have, lowering our debt a little bit, lowering our expenses, and then start bringing in revenue from other places. Start charging Canada a little bit more, start charging Mexico a little bit more, start charging China more, and then you'll see money start flowing in different ways. And then I think where majority of the big money could come from will be one, the tariff tax, but also corporate income tax. So the taxes that corporations pay. So not only would that relieve pressure from individuals of consumers who are just going to go to the grocery store, they'll have a little bit more money in their pocket. It'll inject money naturally into the economy instead of, think about, what does the average person pay per tax? Let's say the average person in America makes $70,000 to $80,000 a year. They get charged a federal income tax rate. I believe it's like 6%, 5 or 6%. That's like, $5,000 extra a year for people to go and spend if they don't have to pay federal income tax. So inject $5,000 across every American going to spend that more. That's a lot of money, and that'll naturally inject back into the economy. And as you using the external revenue services to bring in more money, fix roads, and do different things, it could be very prosperous. And I hope that they keep the ball rolling on this.
Yeah, make fucking money. Just be profitable. If you're profitable and you enrich your people, the country will be better. And God bless these guys for doing what they're doing. And just the big thing I want to see is get America back to innovation. Get back America to building things again. Get back to America being special again. We're not building anything here. We're not building any new skyscrapers. All of our cities are falling apart. All of our buildings are falling apart. The infrastructure, the roadways, everything in this country is falling apart. They've built it like shit and they haven't rebuilt it yet. These other nations in the Middle East, China, Japan, these fantastic, beautiful cities that they're building, these beautiful buildings, the tallest building in the world in Saudi Arabia or in Dubai. What happened to America? When are we going to get back to building shit? We had our industrial revolution and building stages in the 40s, 50s, 60s. Cool, great. What are we building now? Where is it? You can't build anything here now. The fucking system's decimated. So we got to get back to being fucking number one. And we got to rebuild our cities. We got to rebuild our roadways, our bridges. Everything needs to get rebuilt. We need to get some fucking maglev trains, some speed trains, some bullet trains. We got to get all that shit. Where's it at?
Speed trains will be a huge one.
Yes, dude.
You see airplanes falling out of the sky every day, you're going to be more inclined to take a speed train for sure.
Yeah, let me just pop on the maglev real quick, rip it down to Miami in an hour or two on a maglev. You can do that. These things exist, right? Why can't we build it? Build it. Subway systems, everything is old and fucked up. We need to be profitable so then we can fund these things to improve our country.
A lot of and what they said, it's a lot of it with the regulation. These guys, they want to be important. You're like, oh, it's the environment, blocking this. Trump says, no, it's not the environment. They're looking to be important and just be a roadblock in the way of getting stuff done.
Exactly. Well, good interview. Any other things you want to touch upon quickly before we start to wrap this up?
No, I think, that interview covered a little bit of what they've been talking about over the past couple of weeks. Doge just staying on the pedal of competence and care. I like that. I like their kind of motto there. So staying up on the competence and care of the government, and you'll start seeing the waste, fraud, and abuse lower. And people, and just actually one last point. I did have a point while they were thinking, while they were talking. A lot of the people say, they're cutting all these government employees. Like, oh, well, now they're going to be jobless. It's like, well, a lot of government employees are probably pretty smart people with pretty good degrees or pretty good expertise. Like, they could go get a job in the workforce. Like, they don't have to be government employees. Like, they could go get jobs at these big corporations and, do good work there that might improve the world even better, as opposed to just wasting tax dollars on a job that's not needed in the government. So I think, when you hear that, that's another propaganda spiel that I've been hearing, is that, oh, you're firing all these government employees and now they're jobless. Now they don't have jobs. It's like, well, first of all, they have severance for a year, so they have a year to get a job, and they could go get a job somewhere else and be just as useful doing something. So,
right, yeah, because the government's a business. American people are using our taxes to fund these people. If these people were at a normal company and they weren't doing anything, they weren't providing any value to the company, you wouldn't look at that business owner for firing them and say, oh, that's wrong. Now they're not going to have a job. It's like, well, yeah, they weren't doing anything. That's why we got rid of them. It's better to fire these people so that they have to go provide a useful skill or service to the economy.
Yep.
But people don't use their minds. They don't think. They don't understand that that's actually better for the nation than them staying at the government, sitting at home all day doing fuck all and getting paid for it. They're not adding anything to society. They're just collecting a check and it's your money. Put them into the workforce, get them doing something productive to add to the GDP, to add to the actually gross domestic product of the country, and improve everybody else's life. Everybody's lives are improved at that point. Nobody should be getting a free check off of me. Why the fuck should they? So
yeah. So what you're seeing here is a major revolution of how government works. Like moving forward, and we'll think back to this in 12, 16, 20 some years of like reshaping what it looks like to be a government, and it's going to come down to like these next 4 years. Whatever they're able to implement from systems, maybe blockchain, maybe some other things,
Yep.
accountability, just cutting costs and spending. We're gonna look back on this in the future and be thankful that it happened.
I'm gonna throw it out right now. Vancino. Get ready to fucking get Vancino in there after these 4 years. Vancino's a fucking stud. Every time I see him speak, every time I see him answer questions, handle difficult situations, dude is fantastic. Articulate, well-spoken, well thought out, educated, very competent. Vancino, get him in for after Pompino.
Keep the ball rolling.
Keep the ball rolling, baby. Let's fucking work. Let's build this nation. Let's make it the greatest nation on earth again. Let's get back to fucking winning. Let's get back to being competent. Let's get back to men being men and women being women. Get back to normalcy. Get back to common sense. That's what it is, gentlemen. All right? Let's fucking work.
We're gonna do our part, so.
Yeah, and we're going to do our part. We're going to make sure we continue to usher in the next generation of gentlemen, people who want to make money, take care of their families, raise families, have children, right? Elon having a children with another woman now. Oh, Elon had a child with another kid. Yeah, that's what, yeah. Why wouldn't he? He's having children. He's trying to populate the planet, right? People forget, too, that the United States will no longer, it'll cease to exist because of the fucking birth rate. You can't have a civilization if you have less children. That's what, yeah. Anyways, it's a completely different topic, but the guy's doing his part in all realms. I'm going to have as many children as humanly possible, too, because I want to populate the earth, not the fucking human race to go extinct because nobody wants to have kids. And everybody's gay now. So,
yeah, that's the two dudes.
Yeah, repopulating the planet. All right, Alif, can I get an email address? I want to pay via crypto to join the Taylor's code. All right, I'll get you an email address right now, Alif. Let me see. Alif, you got your pen and paper out? I'm just gonna say it on stream because am I able to do it from my account? Yeah, actually I can. Hold on, I'll put it in the chat.
That's something we gotta look into for Stripe integration, a little crypto payment. Is there any apps that do that?
Not through Stripe that I'm aware of, because there are a bunch of different integrations for Stripe, but I know there's ways to accept crypto. We're going to have to look into it. Okay, you got your pen and paper, Alif? I'm going to just say the email address, okay? So the email address is the Taylor's code at gmail.com. The Taylor's, Tailors, code, CODE, at gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll get you a wallet address and just send the USDT there. Okay? I accept USDT on Ethereum network. Okay, don't give me any goofy Arbitrum or fucking base network, I suppose, is fine. No. I'm not going to get to, Ethereum network. All right, Alif? All right, send me the email, Alif. I'll get you inside of the Discord. As soon as I see that money hit the wallet that I send you, I'll get you inside of the Discord. We'll get you inside of the school, and we'll get you set up and make sure you start making money ASAP. Okay? Thumbs up, Alif. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. All right, it's another rule of business, ladies and gentlemen. Take payment in as many forms as humanly possible. Okay? Somebody wants to pay you in fucking eggs, because apparently eggs is an appreciating asset, right? Take eggs. As long as it's worth something and they're willing to pay it, take it. All right? All right, he gave me the thumbs up.
Well, other than that, that's all I had for today. I like the format of kind of watching a video, so maybe we'll implement that a little bit more because the morning, there's sometimes news breaks overnight and we could talk about it in the morning. So it's good to maybe watch a video and educate both of us at the same time because a lot of stuff happens late at night. We don't get a chance to talk about it. So we could both kind of learn together as stuff pops up. So I think we could use this as a format going forward.
I agree. I like it too. Like you said, both learn something at the same time. It just makes us focused on one thing that we have to actually, I like it. It's good. Beautiful. All right. I'm going to do a little Mr. Producer. Bobby, take us out. Let me do
Mr. Producer.
We actually do have to shill one last time, the Discord. The link is in the description of the video, okay? Join the Taylor's Code. This is a network and university for the ultimate professional. Inside, we're teaching people how to make money through crypto investing. Bobby's helping people set up and run e-commerce stores to make money. We have a fitness campus with Logan Bauer, who's the ultimate professional. Will get you fucking shredded. If you haven't seen me on social media, I got the 6-pack abs because of Mr. Bauer, right? We're getting shredded. Boom. We have the supplementation inside of there. We have the workout routines. We have the splits. We have the runs, everything, okay, that you need to be the ultimate professional. The community is about making money, but outside of making money, it's about actually developing yourself as an individual, growing the network, and in turn, the more successful that everybody becomes, the more successful the network is. Because if you're getting rich on e-com, I don't have to learn e-com. I can just set up a store through Bobby, and now I make money off of e-com. Vice versa with crypto, vice versa with fitness. As opposed to you trying to become a professional, an expert in every single area of life, which is not possible. You do what you do great. Then you get with individuals like ourselves who do what we do great. And then we just teach you what you need to know to be able to make money, right? That's networking. You leverage each other's relationships to be able to have success. So if you want to join a network of competent individuals that are making money, that are developing ourselves, that are increasing our lids, developing our leadership abilities, join the Taylor's Code. Do it now, because March 1st, everything's doubling. The prices are going up. The community's been growing for months now. Don't wait, okay? Do something effective. Do something important with your life.
Yeah, I second all of that. Definitely get in at the cheaper price. It's just gonna, save you a few bucks in the long run. But in terms of learning and in terms, like I say all the time, it's the information age. And you can't do things if you don't have the correct information. So what we're providing is that information in all different realms, whether that's in crypto, you want to learn, you want to see charts, you want to an analysis of your coin. Primo's in there, boom, he'll give it to you. He'll look at the chart, he'll graph it out, give you his thoughts behind it. Same with e-commerce. If you already have an e-commerce store, I've already done a few audits where people have sent me their stores, and I'm just going to send you a plethora of information back on where I think you could do improvements. Just give me the systems you have, whether you're on Shopify, whatever kind of platforms you use, and then your marketing strategies. And then I'll go through, look at all those things, and give you my report back of where I think you can improve and how I think you'll get more sales. Same with fitness. You want to get information from people that are actually shredded and people that are actually doing well in fitness. You don't want to get information from fat people or anything like that. So go in there, you look and see. We're in there posting our gains all the time. So go in there, check it out, and you get information on supplements, information regarding workouts, how many sets to do, what weight to do for your body weight, different things like that. So information age is key. Gain information from your network, and you're going to reap all the benefits from it.
Exactly. Cool. Link is in the description of Bobby's channel. Link is in the description of my channel. Join up. Let's get fucking paid. Let's build, gentlemen. Let's build the greatest organization across the face of the planet. That's what's going to happen. All right? Mr.
All right.
Producer, got all them hoes. All right, Alif. I better see an email from you. Don't be bullshitting me. All right.
Alif.
Nah.